Hi, everybody. I am showing up today to weigh in on Prop 19 on the ballot in California. Prop 19 is the initiative to legalize marijuana and end the prohibition of marijuana that's been going on since the 1930s, I believe. Okay, this is why I'm weighing in favor of Prop 19. Three very important reasons. Number one has to do with the children. Right now, it's nearly impossible for teenagers, underage children, to get liquor and cigarettes. I mean, obviously, they can still get it. They do get it. But people risk their license if they sell it to an underage child. So a lot of people don't want to do that. So for that reason alone, alcohol and cigarettes are difficult for teenagers to get. Unlike marijuana. Marijuana has a whole black market going on, and as you know, I mean, part of the whole Mexico problem with the cartels is this black market drugs. Marijuana being one of those that comes over the border. That said, if marijuana was made legal and able to be sold to legal young adults, 21-year-old, people would have to have a license for that once again they would not want to lose. So the amount of marijuana on the streets and the ability for children to get a hold of marijuana would be lessened. And at least that's how a lot of the law enforcement that are behind the Prop 19 initiative feel about it. And that's how I, as a mother, also feel about it. Okay, let's go on to the medicinal benefits. Okay, a lot of people laugh at California and some of the other states that try and claim that marijuana is a medicine, and that they think a lot of people that are claiming that are just full of it. Okay, this is what I want you to know about marijuana. As a CCDC, I have my chemical dependency and alcohol license. I worked at rehabs for years, high-end, $70,000 a month kind of rehabs. And let me tell you something. Not one death has ever been attributed to marijuana. Please watch the link below where you can see how many deaths a year come from tobacco, alcohol, prescription drugs, caffeine, and even aspirin, but not one has ever been attributed to marijuana. Okay, now let's look at the health benefits of marijuana. Across the board, they've touted that marijuana is now being seen as a preventative for cancer. There is something in the THC that goes after mutating cells, which is often one of the first signs that cancer is about to appear in your body, these mutating cells. For some reason, the THC goes after them and eats them, so much so that the studies show that if you are a cigarette smoker and you also smoke marijuana, your chances of getting cancer of the lungs is cut in half because the marijuana protects you. It's the same thing when they did studies in children's brains, teenagers that were drinking and smoking marijuana. The teenagers that did both actually had less brain damage because the marijuana somehow protected the brain from being hurt as much by the alcohol. These are facts. You can look them up. I don't have a link for that particular one, but I'm sure if you Google it, you'll find it. And finally, you know, marijuana and the prohibition of marijuana. I have a French girlfriend that's always saying, oh, you Americans, you're such pilgrims, you know, throwing Clinton, you know, the whole Clinton issue over, you know, Monica Lewinsky and, you know, that whole thing. And more so now when I look at marijuana, because if we look at the statistics, marijuana doesn't kill. And very often marijuana users don't go out and do anything risky. If anything, the drawback of marijuana is lethargy, which in effect works for some people that are overly stressed. But across the board, let's look at why they made marijuana illegal. It wasn't to protect the people's health. Obviously, what it was because some corporate people had gain by marijuana being made illegal, mostly by hemp also being made illegal because marijuana is hemp. So what did that do? What it did was it put the lumber business in business making paper products, napkins, all the stuff that we throw out and don't care about. That stuff could be made and would have been made by hemp for much cheaper, and it's a weed. We could all grow it. So nobody would have benefited from it, really. It wouldn't have been some huge cost, you know, that a corporation made. It would have been spread out. It would have been, let's put it, it's a resource for the people, and they found a way, DuPont and Hearst, to corner the market by making it illegal. So for me, it was one of the, you know, big hallmarks of corporate takeovers against the people. Let's take away something we know that is more beneficial than most of the pharmaceuticals we're going to sell them for the same ailments and make it illegal. Let's take away a product that we could run our cars on, make all our paper products out of, and let's make it illegal so that we can continue to make money on limited resources like trees. Well, I say it's time to end the prohibition on marijuana because it's a prohibition against the people and against the people's rights. And if you poll most of Americans, they want marijuana legal. So, folks, it's time. We're not pilgrims anymore.